broadcasting from Ibadan or your state, brings you wholesome programs for you and your family.
A very beautiful morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives Unlimited right here on Wales Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. We're reaching you live from Wales Broadcasting House along Alli Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. My name is Toluwaleke. Alli, it's exactly 34 minutes past 6 a.m. Today, the 15th of October 2025. Perspectives Unlimited is that platform where we go beyond the news to help you make sense of the stories across some of our national dailies in a bit to keep you abreast and, of course, ensure that you are also a part of conversations that we have towards a better Nigeria, because a better Nigeria is beneficial for both you and I. So good morning once again and welcome. And together with the analyst in the studio this morning, like I said before, we'll be delving into the dailies and, checking out some of the latest stories that we have in the dailies. But first, let's take a look at the front pages across some of our national dailies this morning. On the front page of the Punch newspaper for this morning, above the masthead, Edo, ailing finance minister flown abroad for treatment. And that's on page 7. Court adjourns suit seeking to stop PDP convention. The story can be found on page 53 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Strike. National Assembly wades into ASU federal government dispute, and that's on page 53 as well. On page 28 of the Punch newspaper, Enugu governor, 3 Kaduna reps dump PDP for APC. The lead story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Marketers blame depots as petrol nears 1,000 naira per litre. And it has 3 riders. Fresh hike worsens inflation fears. Commuters face higher transport fares. Dangote targets 600 million litre supply to stabilize market. Calls mount for government intervention. Experts query deregulation claims. And that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Acting INEC chair outlines plans for Anambra poll. That's on page 7. Ekiti poll. APC adopts consensus as Oyebanji's rival withdraws. And that's also on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Court orders exhumation autopsy of Afriland Towers fire victims. That's on page 4. Tinubu hails Eagles as Osimhen fires Nigeria to World Cup playoffs. The story can be found on pages 59 and 62 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. On the front page of the Guardian newspaper, PDP postpones NEC meeting indefinitely, and that's on page 3. How ASU's actions allegedly sabotaged federal government's truce efforts. That's on page 3 as well of the Guardian newspaper. Federal government approves new admission reforms, raises tertiary intake to 1 million yearly. That's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. The lead story reads, APC consolidates power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu, and that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. IMF, Cardoso isolates Nigeria from global uncertainty, raise growth prospect, and that's on page 6. Tinubu to ECOWAS, declares stolen mineral resources an international crime. The story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. States, businesses embrace $3 billion solar fund as national grid wobbles. That's on page 15. Senate seeks repatriation of Nigerian women, children held in Libyan prisons. To read more on that story, check out page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers, study reveals. And that's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And the final story, also on page 15, power plants operating below 40% capacity as grid voltage exceeds limits. And those are the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, IMF raises Nigeria's 2025 growth to 3.9%. And that's on page 25. On page 6, Mariam Sada, husband's family split over pardon. Mathematics no longer compulsory for art students. And that's on page 12 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Taraba governor, other bigwigs eye APC. The story can be found on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Orphanage owner remanded over abduction of 600 children. That's on page 21. Military takes over as Madagascar president impeached. That's on page 30. ADC rejects November 2026 date for general elections. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigeria meets automatic World Cup sport, head for playoffs, and that's on page 38. And finally, to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. NGX closing gong ceremony. JMOVR reaffirms Zenith Bank's commitment to shareholder value. And that's on page 5. Federal government drops mathematics as requirement for admission for art students. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. PDP suffers multiple losses in Enugu, Bauchi, Kaduna. That's the lead story, and it carries 3 riders. Enugu governor defects to APC. Bauchi senator, 3 Kaduna reps leave party. Damagum legal advisor clash in court. The story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Ekiti 2026 coast clears for Oyebanji as APC adopts consensus option to pick governor candidate. That's on page 3. Oborevore flags off reconstruction of Warri Sapele Benin Road. That's on page 14. Brain disorders kills 11 million yearly, affects 40% of global population. That's according to the WHO, and it's in the health column of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper on page 19. Nigeria secures Shell's $2 billion offshore gas project. That's also on page 19. IMF raises Nigeria's 2025 growth forecast to 3.9%, projects 4.2% in 2026. And that's on page 5. And the final story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. ASU strike. Reps speaker to chair committee to reconcile federal government, varsity workers. And that's on page 20. And those other stories across some of the front pages of our national dailies this morning. All right, welcome back. Joining me in the studio this morning is Chukwemeka Munachi. So good morning, Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Tolu.
All right, good to have you on the show this morning. So let's begin with the story that, seems to be the hot cake across various national dailies this morning, and I'll be taking from the Guardian newspaper. APC consolidates power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu. Mba withstood by PDP for decades. Our voices were disregarded. Shetima, Akpabio, Abbas hail the camp. 12 governors, others attend rally. Bauchi Senator, Kaduna lawmakers dump PDP for APC. Makinde dismisses defections as symbolic, not strategic. Ohaneze commends Mba's move as timely, strategic. Analysts, defections weaken accountability, erode public trust. And I'll take some of that story. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba yesterday defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) in a move that has redrawn Nigeria's political map. Mba led the entire political structure of the state, including the National and State Assembly. That's the members of the National and the State Assemblies, the local council chairman, councillors, and even government appointees into the APC, sealing the end of the PDP's 26-year dominance in Enugu. His defection, being the last PDP governor in the southeast, boosts the APC's recruitment drive for influential leaders and tilts the balance of power further in favor of the ruling party. And before Mba's move, the major opposition, PDP, controlled 13 states, while the APC held sway in 23. But following yesterday's switch in Enugu, APC now leads with a ratio of 24-10, which is widening its dominance over the former ruling party. Mbaz filled the APC's membership form and received his card from the national leadership in a ceremony that drew top government figures to the Michael Okpara Square in Enugu. The rally, in fact, that filled 30,000 capacity venue to mark that symbolic defection.
Well, Tolu, what we are looking at in Nigeria today is something that is very dangerous. And it is dangerous for so many reasons. Defections. There are reasons why people defect. And defections is as a result of lack of internal party democracy. Number two, lack of ideologically based political parties. When political parties are formed on the basis of we want to snatch power, there's no ideology. People cannot be rooted in a political party. And the government, if any administration that encourages defection and defection, should mind that we are about to hollow out whatever we call democracy. Because defections encourage voter apathy. Defections also, because when politicians switch parties for personal reasons, people feel disillusioned. People feel abandoned. That, oh, so we don't even count in this thing we call democracy. And these defections is as a result of weak institutions that we have all over the place. There's no legislation against defection in Nigeria, which encourages this idea of somebody being in party A in the morning, in the evening is in party B. How do you encourage democracy? How do you encourage democracy to take its root in Nigeria? The ruling party may be happy with what is going on, but it is the marketing, whatever that is called democracy in Nigeria, and I stand against it. Unless we have a well-structured political party system, this thing we are doing is not even democracy. Because I can't imagine, I can't imagine a sitting governor. You came into power on the platform of a political party. All of a sudden, midstream, you dump the party and went to another party. If there's a legislation that, look, when we leave one party to another, you lose your status, I think it will check the excesses. That's why when we call off electoral reforms, these are some of the reasons we are asking for electoral reform, that we should do things the way it is done. The former INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakub, he went to Ghana sometime and came back to tell Nigerians that he was shocked that some people have stayed in a political party for 30 years. That is where there is ideology. That is where there is something keeping somebody in a political party. This party believes so much in education. And the man who believes in education will stick with that party. Whether the party is sinking or not, he will stick with that party. This party believes in another thing, they will stay with that party. But in Nigeria, there is no ideologically defined political party. That's why I refuse to call them political parties. They are just businessmen and women. I call them racketeers. Because there is nothing that will anchor them in a political party. And that's why you see defections. The ruling party may be happy, but the consequences on our democracy are enormous. Because when we talk of voter apathy, this defection, one of the reasons why Nigerians are disillusioned, one of the reasons why Nigerians are no longer interested in election, whatever is called election, because they feel that if I vote for this man, because of his own personal gain, he will likely leave that party to another thing. Forgetting what he told me when I voted for him is criminality, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not happy over the trajectory our democracy is taking, and it's going to lead us to one-party state, which is very calamitous for our country. It's not a cheering news. It is not. It calls to question the kind of democracy we are practicing. It calls for question the kind of political parties that we have. Do we have political parties? We don't have. Because what? Look, Tolu, poor institutions is anathema to democracy. Democracy thrives when there are strong institutions. Nigeria doesn't have any strong institution. It lacks it. That's why we are wobbling. We are. Somebody will come out now and say, nascent how many years are we going to practice democracy and we continue to call it nascent democracy? It's not like nascent. But why we are having this is that those who claim to be Democrats, they don't even know anything about democracy. In a democracy, there is a level playing field. There is ideologically based parties. You belong to this party, this is where I belong to. I believe these things we are doing is transactional politicians. We have businessmen all over. They are not transformational leaders. Transactional leaders can jump ship at any point in time. Once their bread is no longer buttered, they will jump ship because they don't have anything that is keeping them in a political party. That's what we are seeing. Are they jumping to another party on what ground? Ask Peter Mba, why are you jumping from PDP to APC? They jump because for protection. They jump for re-election. They jump for political perks. That's why they are jumping. They are not jumping because of the people, which makes our kind of democracy transactional democracy. And it is a pity that we're witnessing these things in Nigeria. When we're supposed to be consolidating the gains of democracy, we're witnessing this kind of movement from place to place, and everybody is keeping quiet. It is very, very wrong. It shows that we don't know what we are doing. That's the meaning.
All right, you can join the conversation this morning by dropping your comments on our Facebook page. We're live on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. And also you can call the phone lines 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 1000, or 0915 333 4893, 0915 333 4893, or you can call 0911 333 893.
Okay, there's something I want to tell you. It's marks of political opportunism. Now, it will lead to decreased voter participation in democracy because Nigerians are watching. And we keep on shouting that people are not coming to vote. Meanwhile, we are the reason why people are not coming out. What are they coming out to do? When a man we voted for, midday, he will jump from one party to another and leave us that voted for him stranded, marooned on the island of indifference. Now, how do you encourage people to come out to vote? They are demarketing democracy. Honestly speaking, is something that is very bad. But some people will see it and say, what if you ask this man that defected now, why did you defect? He will have no reason. Because the decisions should not be taken because we want to be politically correct. Look at the consequences on our people, Nigerians. Look at how is it going to help our democracy? We are shouting here that people are no longer coming out to vote. This is one of the reasons why people are disinterested in whatever that is called election in Nigeria. And we say we are practicing the democracy. And democracy without the people is not democracy, because it's all about the people. When you have already you have already shown them that you don't have what it takes to be in leadership position, that you can turn coat at any moment in time, that you are a chameleon. Why should they come and vote for you? Why should they come and stand in the sun to go and vote? The man they are voting for or the woman they are voting for may not even stay in the party. If we jump again to another place, how will people come and participate? We are demarketing democracy in Nigeria by encouraging unnecessary defections from one party to another party.
All right, the phone lines are open. Let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper, where we have, new admission guidelines that has been put out by the federal government. I'll take it from Vanguard newspaper, like I said before. Mathematics no longer compulsory for art candidates, as according to the federal government, approves new admission guidelines. The federal government has approved a comprehensive reform of admission entry requirements for all tertiary institutions in Nigeria, introducing a more flexible and inclusive framework to expand access to higher education. The development followed the approval of national guidelines for entry requirements into tertiary institutions, according to a statement issued by Boriowo Folashade, the Director of Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education. The statement explained that a new policy championed by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, sought to democratize access to tertiary education and empower Nigerian youths in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Dr. Alausa said the reform became necessary after years of restrictive admission requirements that left many qualified candidates without placement, despite meeting academic expectations. Now, according to him, while over 2 million candidates sit for the UTME annually, only about 700,000 secure admission, a gap that he attributed to outdated and rigid entry rules rather than lack of academic ability. So now the new national guidelines update admission requirements across universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise academies, while still maintaining academic standards. Now, part of it is that for universities, minimum of 5 credit passes in relevant subjects, including English language, in not more than 2 sittings. Mathematics remains compulsory for, science, technology, and social science courses, but it is no longer compulsory for art students.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to.
Okay.
For polytechnic at the ND level, minimum of 4 credit passes, including English language for non-science courses and mathematics for science-related programs. For HND, there's minimum of 5 credits, including English and mathematics. Colleges of Education, minimum of 4 credits with English compulsory for arts and social science and mathematics required for science, vocational, and technical programs. Now, for the colleges of education at the BEd level, there's minimum of 5 credits, including English language and mathematics, as applicable to the course of study. And so for the Innovation Enterprise Academies, they are to adopt the same requirements as polytechnics for ND programs.
Yeah, is a very good idea.
But now they also raised the students. The students they should be admitting every year to 1 million.
Okay, I'm not talking of admission. I'm looking at removal of mathematics.
Okay,
is a very good one. You understand? When government does something good, we should say it is good. Because I don't understand why somebody who wants to read mass communication will have to pass mathematics. I don't understand why somebody that wants to read law will have to pass. If he doesn't have mathematics, he cannot be admitted. Is he going to count money in the court? You understand? So this is a very good one. I commend the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, for taking this initiative, because most of the things. Look at when we were in secondary school. I remember we are drawing cockroach, we are drawing a rat, we are drawing a skeleton, we are drawing all those things. What do we gain from those things we are drawing? When we came out from school, what we saw outside is different from what we are taught in school. So, and that's why some people say they become educated after they left school. So there are some things that we should look at, and what is the relevance of this thing we are even teaching. Mathematics is good for science students because you must know how to calculate. But what is the relevance of mathematics to somebody who wants to study English? That's the question. You understand? And that's why I welcome the idea. Is a very good one, so that our children will now focus on okay, I want to study law. You face law. I want to study mass communication. I want to study this. Anything that has to do with mathematics, you know that actually you are going to have to meet mathematics, and you must study to pass the mathematics. But when it is not science related, why bother yourself with mathematics? It's a very good one, if you ask me. That's my own opinion.
Okay, wouldn't this now affect the outlook that art students have to mathematics while in school?
No, it will not. It will even make them to be more focused in acquiring English knowledge more than mathematics. It does not mean that you won't have elementary knowledge of mathematics. That's what they are saying. But the issue is that if you have C or D in mathematics, it will not stop you from not getting admission, because that is not the core requirement for the course you want to study. You understand what I'm saying? Not that you won't even know 2 + 2 again. No. But what I'm saying is that it has debarred a lot of children from gaining access to the university as a result of making that requirements compulsory for students that are into humanities and arts-related courses.
Okay.
So it's a good one.
So how about the increase of students that should be admitted to 1 million?
If we look, that is why ASU is asking for funding of public universities. You see where it is tied to what ASU is asking for. Go to some of these public universities. Go to their hostels. You wouldn't allow your child to stay in that hostel. A hostel that should accommodate five students, you have about 10 or 15. You don't do that. And we keep on giving certificates for individuals to establish private universities. The ones we have, what have we done to upgrade them to a standard where when you come out with a certificate, people will actually know you went to school? That's what they're asking for, funding of universities, which is very, very critical to the development of our country. If we want to fund, Nigeria has money to fund universities, but we cannot fund it when those at the helm of affairs, their children are not here. So there's no point putting money where their children cannot benefit. But if their children are here, I keep saying it, they will fund universities. And funding universities is not just building blocks, building hostels or building. There is what they call research. Most of the things we consume in Nigeria are as a result of researches done by people in other universities in other climes. We have Nigerians are doing very, very go and check other universities as in other countries. You see Nigerians doing exceptionally well because government understands that without research, without funding, there's no way a country will develop. We continue to consume what others have produced. That's why we are a consuming economy. We're not producing anything. Does it mean Nigerians can't think? No, we have intelligent people in Nigeria, lecturers that can put their feet down and come out with innovations that can move this country forward. But because we have leadership that does not even believe in education, they can't fund. You can't put money in something you don't believe in. The good book says where your treasure is where your heart will be. So if they fund universities, Nigerians can come up with a lot of things. Look at what happened. Let me digress a bit. During the Civil War, look at do you know why they are not studying chemical engineering in Nsukka? University of Nigeria, Nsukka, because of what they did during the Civil War. The students in that department came up with a lot of things that kept Biafra going for 3 years. They came up with a lot of innovations. They went into research and came out with something that withheld Nigeria for 3 years. That's why in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, they don't study chemical engineering. Is that a way to grow? Why not encourage chemical engineering in University of Nsukka so that children who have brain to think outside the box can produce something that can make this country to move forward? That is the bane of our country. That's what we are doing. You understand? Most of the things they used, it was research purposes. Research kept them. The Ogbunigwe you hear, research. The Ojukwu bucket you hear, research. They refined their own oil. They didn't even have oil problem we are having now. tomorrow there's no fuel. There's no. They refine their own oil. They refine their own salt. They refined so many things. They came out with, because why? They funded the university at that time. They came out with something that can move Nigeria forward. What are we doing to universities today? We just left them. That's where you go to research institutions. All you are hearing is a PhD, doctor this, doctor that, because they want to acquire more degrees. There's no enabling environment for them to apply the knowledge they have. And when they ask for grants from other countries, when their grants come here, they can't even get. If they, I'll give an example. If they ask for about 100 million, and the country gives them 100 million, before the thing will even get to them, it may be 30 million you will get. How can you do something with 30 million? That is the corruption in every sector of our country. I have friends who are researchers, and I move with them, we talk, and I know their problem.
Okay, the phone lines are open, 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, or 0911-3333-893. Majority of these schools, their fees are even getting so expensive that an average... Okay, let's make this go first. Hello?
Concerning the defection, the Enugu State government that defected to APC, to me, it is for their own selfish interests and political ambition. That's why they are defecting to the present administration at the federal level. So, because if it is for the masses, I don't think they'll be defecting to a party that has not got into hardship, poverty, where things are not going right in the country. So, some of our leaders, I don't know, they don't think straight. So, may God therefore, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your take on the show this morning. In the course of this current, session that has been resumed, I've seen a lot of university students come out to talk about the outrageous fees that they are currently paying now. Now, if you are increasing the amount of those who are admitted into universities to about 1 million, but yeah, what happens while they are there? What happens when they graduate? What are the jobs that are waiting for them after graduation?
That is why I keep saying that politicians will not develop Nigeria. It is statesmen. Before statesmen will sit down and think, if we increase the intake this year, do we have commensurate job opportunities for them when they come out? Politicians will not think of that. What they are thinking is about 2027, how to win an election, who will defect and who will not defect. Are we doing a governorship election, presidential election? That's what they are occupied with. They are not thinking of how do we move Nigeria forward. These children that are in school, if they come out and they don't have jobs, are we increasing problem in Nigeria or are we minimizing it? I was invited in a place to talk on this thing, this kind of vocational as a studies. I told parents that were in that gathering that look, if you want your children to succeed in Nigeria of today, before they gain admission to university, allow them to learn a skill, to acquire a skill, allow them to learn something. Because when they come out from the university and there's no job waiting for them, they will get self-employed. Our school system was not designed to encourage job creators. The British didn't do it that way. They were designed to encourage job seekers. That's where we are stuck in the mud of unemployment all over the place. If our educational system was designed from the foundation for job creation, we won't have unemployment as we have it today. And we cannot continue to blame the British. We have come of age to think for ourselves. That's why I encourage parents. If you find out what your child is good at before he gains admission, I have seen a lot of parents that are doing it now. Their children will be learning one thing or the other before they gain admission. When they are in school, they will use some of those things they have learned. If it is something they cannot practice in school, at least he has a skill. When he comes out, he will employ himself.
Let's talk to this person. Hello, good morning. We lost our call already.
You understand? So that is because in a system where statesmen, we don't have statesmen again. They have all gone. What we have they are just people that jumping from one party to the other for business. States, the likes of Awolowo. Look at how he designed education in the Southwest. That's the complete statesman. When you call them statesman, you know that these people, they believe in the state. How many of our politicians have a stake in Nigeria today? How many of them? You can point at and say he invested in Nigeria. How many of them? That's why when people vilify and criticize Dangote, I tell them to shut up. This man invested here in Nigeria, and that's why our people are getting jobs from him. How many politicians can point to something and say this is where I invested? They don't put their money here. They take it outside. And when they come out, they say, statesman. Who is a statesman? You believe in the country. You believe that this country is going so, and you think statesmen don't sit down and talk of winning election. Yes, winning election is part of it, but they are not obsessed or preoccupied with just winning election. They have a blueprint of where they're taking the country to. Ask an average Nigerian politician, where are you taking Nigeria to 2027? That's all he knows.
All right. Still, you mentioned earlier about ASU and the federal government and, the current strike. Okay, let's talk to this person. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you.
I'm stuck. You see?
Your line is breaking.
You're not hearing me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
You see, we don't produce, or we consume so much. And someone campaign with that idea. And we don't produce, and we are consuming. So they just want to live in the stone that they're not built. Some politicians that want to lead us. Someone campaign about common agriculture. They do not campaign with it. And agriculture is the source of income in this country. And people in need can feed from it. But they're only setting our weight for them to stand on it and destroy that of anything. I could never campaign with that. Tinubu never campaign with that. They don't want to clear away all this Boko Haram that are attacking us so that people can go back to farm. They're only after what is coming from the economy of oil and the rest of others. Talking of things that will help the nation, they want to go and see themselves, all of them run to abroad and leaving our hospitals down here. They cannot build a befitting hospital whereby they can go and see themselves there. And other things. And their children cannot go to school here in Nigeria. All of them moved abroad. How are they going to take care of our education sector here in Nigeria if all of them are moving abroad? That's the problem we are having. And that's why the Nigeria is going down every day.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution on the show this morning. So I was just going to mention that the House of Reps has, created a committee to mediate the issue between the federal government and ASU. Presently, they created a committee yesterday during plenary. All right, this is still Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. We'll go on a commercial break, and when we get back, Perspectives Unlimited continues.
Will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903 936 8185. Call Toby on 0803 509 3394. Ayo on 0706 840-7359. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
All right, welcome back. This is your Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. The phone lines are open 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 1000 or 0915 333 4893, 0915 333 4893 or 0911 333 893, 0911 333 893. You can drop your comments on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page on Facebook. Let's move back to the Vanguard newspaper. Illegal financial flows out of Nigeria worsening country's revenue problem. That's according to IMF, as a few riders promised renewed focus on tracing such flows to block fiscal leakages, upgrades Nigeria's 2025 economic growth forecast to 3.9%, cites stronger domestic fundamentals, calls for credible fiscal monetary policies, downgrades global economic growth forecast to 2.8. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has decried illicit financial flows, IFFs, out of Nigeria, noting that it was contributing to the worsening revenue problem of the country. Okay, we have a call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, this is Mr. Meka from Abete.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I must commend my governor, who is from Enugu State, for dumping PDP. As I guess rightly said, what is the status of PDP today? As we speak, there is a court injunction yesterday stopping PDP from holding their neck meeting. So you don't blame people for doing what they believe that is right. Good morning.
All right, thank you for your contribution. But I don't think you said that it was
Everybody's entitled to his own opinion.
No. He mentioned, he referred that you said that what's the benefit of PDP, but he never said that.
No, I didn't mention
He
PDP.
never mentioned that.
I only said defections undermine democratic principles.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
He didn't listen to us very well.
Thank you very much. All right. So back to the story. The managing director of the Global Institution, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva, who stated this in the ongoing 2025 annual meetings of the IMF and World Bank in Washington, D.C., promised renewed focus on tracing such flows to plug fiscal leakages. Georgieva warned of the growing threat of illicit financial flows, IFFs, a phenomenon which she said had become a major factor undermining the economic and financial stability of nations across the globe. So according to her, illicit financial flows include stolen funds, proceeds from criminal activities, and untraceable digital transactions continue to erode governance systems, drain public resources, and also cripple developmental efforts, especially in developing countries. And now in Nigeria, they've given us another forecast, of a growth of 3.9, I believe. Yes, for the year 2025.
You see, Tolu, I always say that in undeveloped countries, do you know why most African countries are underdeveloped? They're underdeveloped not because they don't have resources, not because they don't have, God did not bless them very well. They are underdeveloped because they refuse to build strong institutions, because there is a correlation between strong institutions and economic development. If you look at countries that are prospering, they have strong institutions that will check the excesses of men and women who will be in leadership position. Because man has this tendency to misbehave, if there is nobody that will say, oh, you can't cross this line. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, the radio woman.
Hello, good morning, sir.
This is Gbenga Mario calling from Apata.
You're welcome to the show, Mr. Gbenga Mario.
Thank you. See, if there's something I'm expecting from the new INEC chairman, I want to talk about the issue of this cross-carpeting of our governor from a particular party to another party. If there's something I'm expecting from me, if you can make a move to promulgate or to seriously deal with any erring governor or any erring serving political officer from defecting from party A to party B, because that is not too good for our democracy. I came into a limelight through a particular party, which people in that party, my particular state, they love the party before they love me, and by their choice of vote, I was voted in because I came from the party that people like. And at the middle of the road, I dumped the party, neglecting the part of the people and following my own conscience because I want to retain power in 2027. But that should not be done and should not be encouraged again in our political dispensation. I want the INEC chairman to work with I don't know, just to give us a kind of to prohibit the excesses of our governors from dumping a party and going to another party. Because number one, what you want from me is governance and not the campaign. That is not too good for us. And lastly, on the issue of this ASU of a thing, I think the Minister of Education said yesterday, he said that all that the ASU are demanding for, that they have done everything. Now, if they have done it, why are they now still inviting ASU again for a meeting so that they can find a lasting solution to the ongoing strike? I think something is fishy underneath that we don't even understand.
All right.
Thank you very much, and God
Thank
bless
you. Thank you so much for your contribution on the show this morning.
So we are talking about what we're talking about.
We're talking about IMF's forecast of 3.9%,
okay,
and the fact that they said illicit financial flows.
If we have strong institutions in a country, most African economies, they have big men, people who are stronger than the country, so they will do whatever they want to do. Imagine, okay, let me give an example. Imagine if we have a strong institution like INEC, Independent Electoral Commission, standing alone, truly independent, and they come up with a law that, look, if you are in a party, before you decamp to another party, it will take a lot of time. And when you decamp, you lose you lose every privilege you have in the former party. Do you think our democracy will not be strengthened? It will be strengthened. If we have strong institutions that when you live beyond above your means, the state will ask you question, where did you get this money? It will be difficult for people to steal. But because there are no strong institutions in most African countries, that's why an individual, you remember this man, Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, he was even richer than the country. How did he make that money? So there is a relationship between strong institutions and strong economies. As far as African nations, not only Nigeria, do not see the need to have strong institutions, there's no way our economy will be at par with developed economies. Because imagine, look at Trump. You know how many times they have taken him to court? Because there are people who will ask you questions. Because they don't believe, you are the president, yes, but you don't have all the power to do what you want. Nigerian president has the power to do virtually everything. He can't make progress in that kind of situation.
Let's talk to this person. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, West Study.
Good morning, sir.
My name is George. I'm calling you from Noguel.
Welcome to the show, sir.
I listened to the governor, Umba, when he was telling his people why he has to decamp to APC. And he's giving the reason as he wants to belong to the center. And I asked in my mind, I said, belong to which center? The center that is given to the people who voted them into office, of the center that is sharing whatever gains they have made from the income which they rate has increased and condition which has become good. Is that the center you are aligning with? You see, this issue of defection is going to continue this way until after 2027 election. They are doing it in order to win governors to themselves and draw people who are following the governors so that they will be able to win election. And after that, they are going to show us what we have not seen before. What we are experiencing now will become a child play by the time this APC government go in for the second time. Nigerians should be wise. Let us be very wise. Are we enjoying this government? Do they do what they promise they will do? Are they looking to the suffering that their policies have brought to this country? If we look at those things and we vote wisely, we might be able to overcome the pains we are passing through now. Because, take for example, we have been crying that they should amend the constitution so that we can have strong, laws that will guide people from moving from one place to the other. They are not amending those areas. But every point that affects them, like changing of national item,
we have to go,
like
sir.
Other things that affect them, increasing their salary and the rest of it, they do it with fear, without listening to the voice of the people. They will not think. They are not thinking of us at all.
Thank you, sir. We have to go now. We have to go on the show now. Thank you so much for your contribution on the show this morning. We have to go.
Thank you for having me, Tolu.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of the show this morning. As I would always say, wherever it is that you find yourself, ensure that you put Nigeria out there in good lights. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. I am Toluwaleke Alli.